Hello and welcome to USTS, the Ultimate Sports Training Show. I'll be your host for today's show, Bob Lemire. And joining me on today's show is the Marine with the golden arm, Eric Daly. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much for having me. Glad to be here.
You're welcome. I called Eric Marine with the golden arm. Well, he was a Marine, retired Marine. And just within the last 3 or 4 weeks, the month of January, Eric scored 3 perfect games in 10-pin bowling. 3 perfect games. You want to talk a little about that before we get going there, Eric?
Yeah, I've been on a little bit of a hot streak here lately.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, the month of January brought me 3 300s. That was next number 7, 8, and 9 for me in my so-called career. And 3 800 series.
And what, the 800 series, I noticed you mentioned that before on Facebook whenever I don't understand what's an 800 series.
So your series consists of 3 games.
Right.
League night is always 3 games. And your combined total for your 3 games, mine equaled out to 800, which is that's a big number,
I can imagine.
in this sport.
And so you're missing perfect games by maybe a spare or one more spare. Or?
Yeah, Last night was the biggest one for me.
Wow. Yeah.
Threw 300 the first game.
Yeah.
Second game was 279.
Yeah.
1 pin.
Oh my God.
And then the third game, I had the front 10.
Yeah.
And then 1 pin cost me.
And all right, so how old were you when you scored your first perfect game? You played your first.
I was probably in my late 20s when I threw my first.
And wasn't that an inclination of I'm good at this. I'm really good at this.
Yeah,
I've never met I've been around bowling people my whole life. My parents bowled. It was duck pin and candle pin when we were younger.
Sure.
All kinds of people playing 10 pins. I really never played too much, and I've never met anyone in my whole life that scored a perfect game.
Really? I'm glad I'm your first.
You were my first, but I mean 9, and your first when you were 20. So
it was late 20s.
Late 20s. Yeah.
Started at the age of 3.
10 pin.
10 pin, yeah.
Rolling it down the.
Yeah, rolling. They had some of those then, but the ball was bigger than I was then.
Yeah.
He was 6-pound ball.
That's funny. Wow.
Yeah. Both sides of the family, mom side, father side, are big into bowling.
Yeah. And that's a 6-pound ball then.
Yeah. Then.
And what kind of ball? What's
weight?
Your weight? Now?
I'm between 14 and 15 pounds.
And what's the max? Is 16. Well, Jesus, that seems so heavy to.
It is. You throw a 16-pound ball around for
a while. Yeah.
36 frames. Your shoulder will feel the next.
Do you
day.
do any training for this? Weight training or?
I don't. I think I am very active.
Right.
In my normal day-to-day life.
Right.
So I think that absolutely helps me out.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, I know you. We have a camp up Ossipee, and Eric's always he's like our next door neighbor. A lot of times he's camping up there, and I remember talking to you maybe this summer, or whatever, about becoming a professional cornhole player because. As I say, he's got a golden arm. This kid, no one touches him in cornhole and now in bowling, obviously. And I forget horseshoes because,
Horseshoes another one.
And another one. So once, and I, what I just realized last night? I watched the Facebook of when you threw that one of the 3.
Last night?
Yeah, well, I don't know, whatever was on Facebook. And I noticed you're a lefty.
I am.
And I said, he's on the wrong side of the thing. He's a southpaw.
I am a southpaw,
And I never realized that over all these years, watching you play horseshoes and throw cornhole, never realized it, but I watched it last night. Now, isn't that an advantage because you've got the angle with the lefty and the way the earth rotates and stuff? Everything is on your favor?
Some people will definitely say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, lefties are, in the world of bowling, everybody thinks left-handed people are lucky because there's
really
there's in bowling, if you think about it, there's an oil condition. They tell you don't step past the foul line.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason why they say that.
Right.
There's oil on the lane, so it's very slippery.
Right.
If you have 10 people on a lane,
alrighty,
most
right
95%, 98% of people are going to be right-handed.
Yeah.
So that side of the lane
The
oil will take a lot more abuse than it will on the left-hand
Who
side.
would even think?
Yeah.
And I was just making that up as a conspiracy theory, so everyone in the world would say, "No wonder these lefties." Boy, that is funny, and it's kind of How true is it? I mean, really, you think it makes that much of a difference?
Oh, it's a huge advantage.
Wow.
Very, very big advantage.
That's
absolutely.
fun. Now, are you ambidextrous? Can you?
I am. I can bowl right-handed.
Do you?
Yes. No, I do not. I mean, we do for fun.
Right.
I think
Like
we've
if
done
I was
a
to play,
summer
you'd let
league.
me have a break, and you'd probably try it and still kick my butt.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty wild. But so now, and that's a thought too. Do you train or do you just playing on your league?
No, I mean, we get our practice sessions in as often as we can. A little more now. Like wintertime is bowling's
Right. So
season.
you do practice. You have a practice schedule.
Yeah. Anytime I can get down to the lanes and get
Right.
some practice time in,
Right.
I bowl in a couple of different bowling facilities.
Right.
Every facility plays different.
Wow.
They're not all the same.
Wow. So if someone was playing at a certain facility all the time, they've got maybe an advantage. Because they
Absolutely.
know- who would think? Yeah. To me, they all look alike.
Right.
But all football stadiums the football field looks alike, and
Sure.
it's where you are. Now, I know in golf, I used to practice so much at one point for a couple of years, constantly swinging, and I'm a righty, and not paying attention to swinging lefty to counterbalance. Do you do anything to counterbalance? But you are ambidextrous, so. Because I mean, it's not just your arm; your whole body is twisting and turning.
Yep. In golf, I've played golf my entire
Right,
life since I was a
right.
kid. I always try to, first of all, golf, hockey,
Right.
and when I fire a weapon.
Right.
The only three things I do right-handed.
Right. Wow.
Everything else is left-handed.
Right.
I never thought. I think when golfing, I just picked up a club that was right-handed and went at it,
Right.
and just started from there. But there's definitely with golf, there's a lot more training that needs to go into. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, but see, you're so used to bowling and being such a good bowler that as I watch, your whole hip has to go into it. Your arm has to go. It's not just your arm, because I mean, then you'd just be throwing up with your arm in your eyes.
Right.
No, you can't do it.
Right.
You got to put a whole English, they call it, into it.
Yeah,
And,
the way the ball comes off the hand, the way the ball is drilled, will allow it to come off and create that.
the spin.
Off-axis spin that
You have a
lets your ball
spin,
go.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it? You have to have a spin if you're gonna, or is it people just throw straight for that sweet spot in between the?
No, I would say most people will
Come in with a
will,
spin.
will spin. They will hook the ball.
Right.
Bowling is all math.
Yeah.
It's your rev rate, which is how much spin you put on the ball. It's velocity, how fast are you throwing your ball? Angle of attack, which way you're coming into the pins. Is
You don't see that as someone on the outside as a
that
spectator.
you wouldn't think of that, but there's
Yeah.
a lot. It's like I said, it's all math.
And now you have your own set of bowling balls.
Yep, I have my own arsenal that I've built up.
Yeah. And what do you bring one to the each game, or do you have a couple that come?
Yeah, I'll bring anywhere between 3 and 4 to the bowling alley.
And you can use them all at the same time, or you
Same,
gotta-
yep, same
yeah.
time. You don't have to.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to.
And that's
do anything.
now they're all the same weight and the same holes and everything's like exactly.
Everything is
so
all
that-
exactly the same.
Wow.
The bowling ball, each bowling ball, has a different, what we call a cover stock to it.
Right.
Some bowling balls are more aggressive; they will hook a lot more.
Right.
If they're more aggressive, if they are less aggressive, they won't hook as much. So, depending on what the lane conditions are like,
Yeah.
weather has a lot to do with it.
Right. Just making sure I got the time. So, and this type of show, what I do on this show, and it's called sports training, ultimate sports training. It's not just sports; it's training, and like Marines or people training for anything. Whether it's music or what, I want to get into their minds, and I want to know what they think the edge is, so that people can say, "Wow, I never thought of that," and say someone like yourself, as they say, you're a horseshoe player. You're in leagues in horseshoe?
No.
No, I mean you only have so much
Tournaments,
time.
pickup games.
Yeah, and what about you in leagues in cornhole?
Yes. Couple different leagues, couple different big tournament nights that we do each week.
In money leagues, in money tournaments,
and money too. Yeah.
How about money tournaments for bowling?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our league nights are all money. I mean, it was my last year's Thursday night league was a big scratch league. It was just over, I believe, $83,000 in the purse.
I'm not going to ask you how much you've been winning over the years, but wow, I mean, well, that's why we were talking, and you really want to, or you're thinking about going pro, and God, that's what a thought. I mean, it's just something that you can.
I mean, it's been a dream.
Yeah,
since you were. I mean, anything
a pro of anything,
does,
right? Yeah,
since such a young age.
Right. And have you played against any professional?
I have,
and
I've both in cornhole and in bowling.
Right.
I've thrown against some pros
and given them the competition that they.
Sure.
Isn't that something? So, because when you do become pro, now you're practicing.
Yeah,
now you're really this is your life. Yeah.
You eat, breathe, live, and sleep whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
If you're not,
right, then
you're going to get run over by your competition.
Now, we were talking earlier today, and you said you called out. Right. Or however you called them.
Sure.
Say you called them. I don't know what you call it.
Yep.
And you want to know with the PBA, is that what they call it?
Professional Bowlers Association.
And so when you're calling them, what are you asking them? What do you want out of them?
So how that kind of happened last night was, just been on a hot streak. So I figured I'd call them out.
Right.
So I when I had posted my stuff on Facebook, I had tagged the PBA tour. On a couple different pages that I'm on, a part of on Facebook and YouTube and whatever, just to see where it would get me, just to see the response that would happen. Yeah, why not?
Right.
Call somebody.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to lose. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And their competition is bar none. You're not going to get anything better than that.
That's right. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'll wait by my phone and see if I get a.
Yeah, but don't give up.
Oh no, never.
Never give up, and keep calling, bugging them, and all of a sudden, there's thousands of people out there who are involved, and all of a sudden, one guy's going to go, "What's this guy that keeps,
Why does his name keep coming up?
Yeah, this is Eric Daly guy." Hopefully, they watch the podcast. We'll get them going.
Exactly.
We send them the podcast.
Yeah, I'll send it to them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Say, hey, this is what's going on. We're making it.
Yeah.
So we were talking about, because it's almost impossible just to quit your job, quit everything, and go on tour, because you better be rich to be able to do it.
And that's, I think, one of the things that's holding me back.
Of course.
Whether it's my professional cornhole, getting my pro card there, or whether it's bowling.
Can you do both? Is it possible?
I don't think there's enough time in the day.
And all you're doing is, in that poor arm, the arm's like 5 times longer than this arm.
Yeah, you'd be icing it down every night.
Do you ice it down after a 3?
Not during league nights, but if I go out and bowl tournaments, there's a lot of times when we go into bowling tournaments, we do what's called bowling all events. And all events consists of a team event, doubles, singles. Sometimes if the tournament's far enough away and you decide you're not coming back, you're going to bowl all 9 games in one day.
Yeah.
That'll do a number on you.
The whole body.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what do you ice at the shoulder or the elbow or everything?
Ice the shoulder, and I'll
the legs.
I'll ice, legs.
Yeah, because you're
always pushing.
Wow, boy, that's wild. All right, so I don't want to get off the subject of how we're going to get you a manager and
the spots are open, folks.
The spots
are open. Taking
applications. And I don't know what they take. 20%. Take 20%. I'll give you 25.
It gets my foot in the door.
Right, and so it would be a sponsor that you need, or sponsors, and Jesus, there's sponsors out there with money. There's some people out there, and you have a good personality, as people can see just by watching this, Eric, and he'll talk to you your ear off about anything. We'll talk about anything.
Yeah, anything.
And that's right. And good attitude, humble guy. So you'd be perfect for someone on a tour that people could talk to and have some fun. You won't be a zombie at all. And that's why a good manager say, this guy over here, he's a wise guy.
I think it would be an absolute blast.
Sure.
Just to, see,
hit the road,
meet everybody, go out on the road, meet new people, learn so. I've been bowling 39 years.
Did you take lessons ever?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Never. And I've never seen a bowling instructor.
I've had coaches from day one, even till now. There's still people that I go to, and
what do they tell you? Like you're throwing your hip into it, or I mean, after 3 perfect games, I think you got it.
you would think.
Yeah.
But
although Tiger
repeating
Woods has a coach.
Right.
Everyone's had a coach,
There's always room to improve and get better and learn.
Right.
And,
Oh yeah, yeah. Or you start a little bad habit that you don't even know about.
right.
And
I do a lot of I do a bunch of coaching. I've done coaching in bowling. I've done a ton of golf lessons given to people who need it.
Right, yeah.
I love helping people out like that. Loving watching
That's
people
what I'm saying.
progress
You're a person, people.
in the sport.
The thing is, you work at L3 Harris.
I do.
Eric's a retired Marine, Corporal E4. How many years ago?
Oh my God.
I don't want to state how old you are, but you
No, I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
I went into the Marine Corps right out of high school, 18.
Yeah, oh my God.
Got back. I was in just shy of 4 years. Was able to get I was out and actually home about 8 months before September 11th happened.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, so it was
That's
basically pretty much all peacetime when I was in. I mean, there was still stuff going on overseas, but it wasn't.
They didn't.
anything crazy.
No thought of calling you back at the time, or I thought everyone was on call.
Everybody is on call until you hit a certain age.
And what's that age?
I don't know. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
I want to say it's got to be probably around 28.
Oh, that
29.
young.
Yeah,
Well,
I wouldn't think it's over 30 at all.
Wow.
They're pretty picky about. They just think of when the body ages and what that time does.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you're still in and you're still active, obviously, I mean, you would, still be doing all your training and everything. But once people get out,
that's this country.
very true.
Other countries saying no, everyone's going. I
Right,
don't care
yeah.
how old you are, who you are, and
Yep.
yeah, because things are getting crazy again. My son, Joel, my grandson, he's still under 30.
He is.
And he was a Marine also. But so, tell me a little about your cornhole. All right, because that's what I originally wanted you on the show for. And all of a sudden, I'm going, this guy's a stud on the
lanes.
bowling lane.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you and I met, cornhole is big at camp.
Oh yeah, yeah.
there's a
And the
ton of
funny
people
thing
that-
is, it was me and there's another good friend of mine. We call him Skeeter, and we were partners because you could pick your own partner. And for 2 or 3 years, we could be on. No one beat us. Then all of a sudden, you come in the picture. I says, "Who's this guy?" Now I'm not even making second, third place, and throwing me out. And that was funny because now when you're doing cornhole, and you got a little bag. And
1 pound bag.
A 1 pound bag, and you're used to a 15 pound?
Yeah, 14, 15 pound ball.
Wow. Unbelievable. That whole mindset has to change.
It does. I'm a big believer in muscle memory.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Once you get that muscle memory down, then you can concentrate on fixing something else in your game, whether it's your swing, whether it's your
Right.
approach, whether it's
Right.
whatever.
Right. I believe that in golf also. A lot of my friends, and myself, and I heard this from Lee Trevino one day.
Oh, sure.
They were saying, what happens when you get into you can't hit the ball for a while, a slump.
Mm-hmm.
He's going muscle memory. And they go, what? He goes, go up to the ball. And this is a little trick I'm going to tell you, buddy. Go up to the ball, right in front of the ball, and swing 3 times. Don't even think about it. Walk up and hit the ball. He says people hold back and think. He goes, you can't think. You got to let the muscles know
Right.
what they know. So you must do that. I mean, say when you're bowling or you're doing cornhole or horseshoes. What's the routine that just say, all right, so I don't slow down or I don't hold back.
Stay smooth. Always stay to your basics, what you know.
Right.
You've gotten to the point of wherever you are
Right.
on talent or by practice or muscle memory,
Right.
whatever it is.
Muscle
And just-
memory is through practice.
Yeah, it
Because people
absolutely
say,
is.
oh, I know a guy, he never bowled, and then he goes going. No. If you
doesn't
never
work like
bowled and
that.
you scored a perfect game, I think you're making that one up.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And they always say that. I got to know a golfer. He don't even golf, and he'll be. And so say you have a little injury.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Say your shoulder, your fingers.
Depends on the sport.
Okay, say bowling. You got a big tournament coming up. You hurt your finger.
We're gonna rehab that thing as much as we can. But some injuries are good, and I don't mind, or I should say, I very much look forward to bowling, especially when I'm either injured or sick.
Right.
This second 300 that I threw this month, or last month, technically it's February 1st right now, I was sick. I was not feeling good.
Right.
I had tested. It wasn't COVID.
Right.
I had tested negative.
Yeah.
It was just a regular common cold. But I think when you start to get really good at something, or you start to get real, that muscle memory, you get that in, you start forcing other things. When you're sick or you're injured, your body tends to slow down, and your timing becomes impeccable at times.
You're so right there, and I understand everything. They call me Smoker Fast Bob on my little things, you know.
Yeah.
Everything I do, I go fast, you know.
Sure.
Because I just have the energy. I've worked my life into getting as much energy as I can, especially for martial arts and tournaments. But now I never let it go, and I'm just flying. But that's no good for golf.
It's not.
So I remember playing so, and you know, one day I was sick with the flu, and I played anyway. It was back in the 80s, and I played with a bunch of guys. I had the best game of my life. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be out there, but I was so tired and felt so lousy. I had the most fluid swing because I just wasn't going fast.
Right. Your timing was
and
getting
so, like bowling, you could go too fast or give it that jerk. There's no
absolutely.
jerking motion.
No.
It's all fluid.
Yeah, you have to be very accurate with everything from how fast you approach the line to how, you know, walking, or your legs getting up there, to your shoulders being square at, you know, when you release the ball, and that way the ball comes off.
Right.
You know, your hand, and with the.
Do you watch films
rotation.
of yourself?
All the time.
Yeah.
That is, I'm another very big believer, and I do that
see.
when I train or when I give lessons with bowling, golf.
Right.
I video a lot of things.
And so, how old are you? 40?
42.
All right. Is that a fairly good age for a professional to start, or are you a little on the older side?
Oh, I'm definitely on the older side of it.
Much older? Or would that be?
Yeah.
Would that be? You look like you're still in your 20s. You got that young body, and
I thank my mom for that.
Yeah, and good for you. So would that deter someone from wanting to be a sponsor, or you don't know? Or
I
you
never
could be
really thought of it like that, and I would probably have to agree with you. Yeah, I think it's, people might not think twice, or have that thought in the back. They're like, this kid's 42 years old and he's trying to make it out on a rookie year now. Like, I mean, I'm only 8 years away from being able to bowl on the seniors tour.
Would you mean another thing?
Yeah.
Even if you came in now, wow, I didn't even know they had a seniors tour in bowling.
15 over, yeah.
Wow, so that's something you should even think. So here I go. Now, did you already have to qualify, or have you already qualified to go on a pro tour?
I've already qualified.
By these three, or by
no, it's actually not even by 300s yet. It's they go by your ending average of the season.
And it's like a gin card.
Yeah, basically.
It's the same thing.
Basically.
And they have a gin card in bowling.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm learning a lot. Did they have a gin card in cornhole?
Not that I know of, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
And that's the question. I have so many questions, but cornhole can you get a perfect game? You can get a perfect game in cornhole. Have you? I mean, that means getting into the hole every shot until you win.
Yeah, I mean, if you go 21-0, I mean, you shut somebody out. I don't know if you want to consider that a perfect.
Oh, all right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But, like to me, bowling is not a sport. Cornhole's a sport.
Really?
And I'll explain why. Yeah.
Good.
To me, and I take this line from Mr. Gary Cody himself.
Okay.
You know Gary.
Yeah.
He will say it's not a sport unless there's defense.
Okay.
You can't play defense
Right.
you're all on your own. That's it. So in
But then you'd say
cornhole,
yeah.
I can throw a blocker bag right in
Right.
front of the hole.
Right.
There's your defense.
But golf, you,
No defense.
right. Yeah,
Bowling, no
that's
defense.
That's a point of view, if you ask me. Yeah.
No. I get it. Yeah, that is definitely my point of view.
And Gary
definitely
Cody, if anyone would, and Gary, this is a shout out to you. You'd know why he'd say defense because you ain't getting by Gary.
Yeah, this is very
He's
true.
your Mr. Defense. Yeah. Boy, that's so funny. And I wanted to give a little shout out to your number one fan at work. What's her name? The woman you work with.
Mama Ann.
Mama Ann. A little shout out to Mama Ann because she's going to listen to this show. And,
Yes, she is.
She'll get a kick out of that, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Cody with this.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
I remember
That's
the
a
first time he
beautiful-
told me, and I'm like, it made
What?
me step back and think, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of true. Like, if you think about it in bowling,
You're just going. You're just yeah.
or golf,
Right.
if you and I are going head to head, there's nothing I can do
Right. Nothing.
other than I hope he misses this shot.
No. That's like
and
anything. Yeah.
you can't rely on somebody else's
And there's
mistake.
probably
in
have
order
more
to get you.
sports like that also. But to me, that's like I interviewed a few my granddaughters and stuff. Gymnastics.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was never years ago. Not gymnastics. Cheerleading. That was years ago. It wasn't really considered a sport years ago. It was cheerleading.
Yeah.
That is one of the major sports now. It should be in the Olympics.
Yeah, I will give you that.
I mean, these kids, and so I think anything you do, especially in its competition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you want to call card playing a sport, but anything you do, the talent and that you train, you're playing for the sport of it.
Sure.
That's what sports is about.
I agree.
Do you think being Marine? Because I love, my grandson's a Marine, and you're a Marine, and I know so many Marines in my life. I've worked with so many because I've worked in defense.
The business.
Do you think that has any, that type of training, all right? Do you think that type of training helped you in your sports as you, when you, because did they have anything like that in as your 4 years in the Marines? Did you play anything?
Nothing organized.
Right, just screwing around. They don't have that.
Just playing around with some friends. Other guys that we were in with. Billiards,
Yeah,
ping pong, and
Right.
darts.
right. You're
were
inside the kid.
huge.
Right.
When I was
They
in
don't
the
have any
service.
bowling.
No, they actually do. They
They
have
have their own?
Yeah, I was stationed down at Camp Lejeune. They have their own bowling alley on base.
Wow.
I used to go down there and go bowling all the time.
Was cornhole even invented then? Or not invented, but even it seems like it's a 15, 20 years sport. It started about 15, 20
Yeah,
years.
I've only been around the sport for 4 years.
Yeah.
4.5.
It's fairly
maybe 4
new.
years.
It just went crazy.
But there are people that I know that are in it that have been playing for 15 years.
Right. So
like,
you're looking about 20 years maybe
Yeah.
it started, and it's making everywhere you go.
Really, it's on ESPN now.
Yeah. Isn't that
Yeah,
wild?
it's televised.
Yeah. And so how would you, if there's no gin card or anything to prove that,
It's a handicap system off of, yeah.
how does that
For a cornhole?
Yeah, how do they say? Well, you're a pro, or you're gonna play in a.
So how they do that? Well, and I know at least all the local stuff.
Right.
When you go to tournaments and stuff, in order to base that handicap system off of, they have different tiers. So they'll have a social event or a social tier.
Right.
Then they'll have a competitive
Right.
or an intermediate, and then competitive, and then advanced. So you can kind of base your own talent on what bracket you want to get into.
And you just jump into whatever you say. This is what I think I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go out and you win, like one of the first tournaments, the first regional tournament that I went to, I ended up going to the finals and lost against an amazing player, Darielle. She's very, very good. But once you get up and you're on a podium, you bump up. You're good enough to be on a podium
then
in that.
They've got
in that,
you written down. You
Yeah.
can't go low. You'll never go back down.
Yeah.
Especially for
not-
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fair to people who are coming in and who are.
No, I know, but when it comes to money, Fairness
Yeah.
goes right out the window with a lot of people.
True.
You know that, we call that sandbagging in golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play bad all year, and then the big money competition, and
Right.
oh, 5 under.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, you got a 20 handicap.
Right.
Yeah. So when you do competition with cornhole, it's one-on-one or is it teams?
Both. Most of all the tournaments, leagues, and stuff that we have around here are all doubles.
Doubles, right. So how do you?
Some are a blind draw where you don't know the partner
Right,
you're going to get.
right. And that's you're in trouble there.
Yeah, you don't know what
You
you're
don't
going to
know,
get.
yeah. And then you could pick your own partner. So now you can have some two studs playing and no one touches.
Yeah, so my league on Thursday nights is we bring our own team in, and the teams that they bring in are so stacked. It's you can't miss. If you miss, you're going to get eaten up.
In cornhole.
You go, oh yeah.
Yeah, it blows me away because I used to think I was cool. Me and Gary were playing with a bunch of people drinking all day.
Yeah.
And I guess we could hold our alcohol that day.
Well, that's how it started. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I believe one of the first rules of cornhole was you had to have a drinking.
In one hand,
Right,
yeah,
yeah,
for
that's-
balancing. Yeah, we that reminds me of we call it Polish horseshoes in the water.
yeah, great
And
game. That's fun.
To roll, and if no one knows what the Polish horseshoes, and I don't know where that came from.
I
but
had no idea.
It's a stick in the water with either a beer can or a beer bottle.
bottle, yeah.
Now you can't put bottles, but something on top, a bottle of water, and you get two frisbees, and you're playing it like horseshoes. There's rules and stuff, but one of the rules was you had to have a beer in one hand and play, and still catch the ball, the frisbee. And
That's
stuff.
how crazy games like this get started.
Yeah.
Is people been drinking and
Well, they got barrels, all the big barrel games that they play on the beach. There's 8 trillion games, and it's funny. You can become a professional barrel. What do they call that game with the big barrels? It's
it's like
Pong?
full size beer pong.
full size beer
yeah,
pong.
we
yeah.
use
Big-
big Rubbermaid trash cans.
Yeah.
Red trash cans. Make it look like solo cups.
Yeah, and then I see hip checking, and I see people tackling each
Oh yeah,
other.
we play full contact. Absolutely.
That's so
We
funny.
use volleyballs.
Right. So the thing is, and thinking about that, you go professional, you're going to have to calm right down. There's no jumping around, and you're going to have to keep that body in tip-top shape because there's where your money is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people out there get pretty fired up.
Oh, I
But,
can imagine.
I'm very much a guy who wears my emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah.
I'm a lot better than I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a basket case.
Well, it's funny because you say that, and it just brings back memory of when we play horseshoes and everyone's flipping out. And it always bothers me if I'm in the back of my swing and people start yelling and screaming. Have some consideration. And I know you're all having fun. And I seen you get a little emotional because people just won't shut up in your back swing.
Yeah, there was an incident. I do remember
Yeah.
that.
And I said, look at Eric. I never seen him so upset. And that was probably for the championship game.
That was for the finals.
Can you just be quiet? No. But that's funny. I mean, it's just it's part of human nature, and that Tiger Woods, when he was growing up and his father was teaching him, his father in his backswing would throw balls on the ground and make noise to aggravate him.
Yeah.
And when he would aggravate him, he would tell him, is that all it takes to get you out of the game? And so it's Tiger's mind just went, nothing, no matter what anyone, because imagine you're in your backswing in golf, you're going for the multi-million-dollar, and somebody yells out your name.
Get in the hole.
Get
or
it.
something.
Oh, yeah. Baba Booey.
Yeah, Baba Booey is another big one they did. Yeah.
Does so when you're bowling and you're in a say you're in a tournament,
Yep.
or even in a league, do you hear that people in the back trying to get to your head? There's always that one.
Yeah, there's always going to be that
just-
one or two or three or
We can get into his head.
But
yeah.
most people have the consideration. I mean, there's a
Etiquette.
time and a place for
Etiquette,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, the etiquette. In bowling and cornhole, it's usually a loud environment.
Yeah.
Bowling alley's not a quiet place.
No.
But like when someone's up for the 300 and everything gets quiet
Does anyone say
and
good
everybody
luck?
stops.
Did they talk?
No,
to,
everybody's like, you do you. Nobody talks to you.
as maybe after your 5th strike in a row, they say, all right, you can't. Like pitcher. If a pitcher's pitching a no-hitter or a perfect game or whatever, he's got to go sit by himself in the
Yep.
corner. No one wants to talk to him because
Right.
they're the man who jinxed him.
Yeah, they don't want to be the guy that threw him off his game.
Right.
Or
Does
or
that happen
somebody-
a lot when you're going for your 300? You can see it, or you just go sit by yourself and kind of relax?
I try to stay. I don't know if you want to say normal, but I try not to break what I'm doing or I mean
Your thought
I want
process,
I
yeah.
want everything to keep calm. Like if I've gotten this far, then I want everything to stay like that. I get it's the etiquette, like when and I do it. I'm
Oh, yeah.
very guilty of it just because it's an etiquette thing. I will usually when somebody's up and they've got a 300 going, you're in their 10th, 11th, 12th frame, people stop. Of course, everybody wants to see it happen.
Yeah, that's
and it gets quiet, and it's like all the eyes are on you. Like last night, I'm standing there, and I can feel. I mean, there's 60 people, 70, 80 people behind you. That are everybody's watching. And
Is there anyone else that you know around there doing a perfect score?
yeah, there was another buddy of mine that threw 300 last night.
2 years.
Yeah, there was 2 of us that threw them last night.
Oh God.
But I just tell everybody, like, go, just keep bowling. Everything stay the same.
Yeah.
And some people are okay. We can do that. Just keep the same rhythm. Nobody stops.
Yeah, just
and other
keep
people are like, no, I'm not being that guy that messes you up.
No. Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't want to be the guy.
Right? Yeah, you just want to let that guy.
It's almost like, hey, good luck on this shot.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, you can't.
Well, what did you? No, we don't even talk about what she said to you today when she went out to Vegas and she goes, and I couldn't bowl at all.
Oh yeah.
Hey, why don't you get into Eric's head?
Yeah,
But
it's
You'll get that. Hey, you're gonna get that no matter in your life. People are gonna say you can't do that. You can't. And when they tell you that, oh really?
that
What are you
fuels me.
crazy? Yeah, I am a little.
I
Yeah.
was told that throughout all 13 weeks of boot camp in
Yeah.
the Marine Corps. You're too little. You can't do this.
Yeah. And they must have loved your gumption.
Yeah, it just made me fight harder.
And the drill sergeants must go, I like that kid. Give
Yeah,
him-
it was.
We'll see what he can
it
do.
paid off. It
Of course
definitely paid
it
off
did.
for
Of
me
course it did. Yeah.
throughout boot camp, and
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, and that's you have. I almost say it's an advantage. You've learned 4 years of mental toughness. Not many people in their life ever go through boot camp itself. Not many people even have an idea what you guys go through.
you're right.
I don't. I never did it, but Joel, my grandson, and I go, whoa. I mean, and I've trained my whole life, martial arts, fought tournaments and stuff, but I still know I haven't gone what you guys went through for boot camp and.
It's a crazy 13 weeks. I'm not gonna lie, 13, 14 weeks.
Of total insanity for your body.
If you think, yeah, I mean, when somebody thinks of Marine Corps boot camp,
Yeah.
it doesn't get more physical than that.
Yeah.
And Joel will tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
Marine Corps boot camp is 100% more mental than it is physical.
Yeah.
For as physical it is, it's
You'll do it, but you're gonna you don't want
it's
to
the,
think.
it's the mental part. It's what they tell you, things that
Yeah.
I mean, the drill instructors have one job,
Right.
to see what it's going to take to make you break.
Right. And if you don't break, there you go.
You pass.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That really had to make you stronger.
Absolutely.
For your bowling, for your because your mental. You've already gone through the hardest thing, probably in your life, is
Yeah.
that boot camp. This isn't. You can't hurt me here.
Yeah.
This is
Definitely the drive, the self-discipline is probably going to be number one.
right.
If you don't have the self-discipline to get out and practice and work at it, you're never going to.
Do you have a schedule, a schedule that you follow? For say, so we're talking bowling now, and when I say bowling, cornholes must be the same thing. But eventually, you're gonna have to make a. So the first one who decides they'll want you for a professional, or you just,
I'm in. Yeah.
Bowling, I used to do that. Yeah, yeah. That's what you're gonna do. It'll be the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah. If I have the opportunity, absolutely.
Imagine doing both. You'd be
Oh
like
my
a
God.
phenom. And did they ever seen you tour for a
A
cornhole?
multi-sport, be a mini Bo Jackson here.
Yeah, there you
football
go.
and baseball.
Yeah, that's well. As I said, I'm going to talk to a lot of people and get yourself out there for a manager or somebody. I mean, you can't do it and concentrate on your job because you still got to work.
Yep.
Concentrate on your training. People are paid to do that.
Yeah.
They're paid well, And the more they're going to try to get you as much as they possibly can because they're taking 10, 15, 20%. I don't know what a percentage is. Maybe 50. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not even
But
sure how the numbers work.
they can make themselves a nice bundle of money on, hey, who's this guy? He's
People make a living at it. I mean,
yeah, and you
just
just got to
another business.
find the right one.
Yeah.
And they're already out there. They're already out. Well, my granddaughter, she's she's an actress. It's her manager and a publicist and all these people. She sits back and waits because they're going to make money on her, and they are making money on her because she can't do that. You don't have the knowledge or the contacts.
Right.
You know.
I had listened to that podcast
Yeah.
with her, and I remember her saying
It's
how
home.
lucky she was that her managers
Just
sounds like basically a jack of all trades, and
Yeah.
it does a lot of different
Right.
things for her.
right. So it's like you're on the hunt. You got to search. That'd be your homework. But once you get the right one and say, what do I do? I'm training 3 perfect games in a month. There's something going on there.
Yeah.
What do you think I can do? But then, so say they said, all right, we need you in Vegas in 2 weeks. How do you work that with your job? It's a tough thing to do, and we won't get too far into it because they might. That would be tough. Well, I wonder if they would give you a leave of absence for you must have vacation time.
Yep.
Give it a shot.
I think it just depends on how long your tournament is.
Are
how
they
far
way
you
out in the
end up
West Coast,
going.
or do they have them
They're
up?
all across the country.
So it would be better to get one maybe in the East Coast here,
Sure.
around New England.
Yeah, there's a lot that's out west. They do a bunch of tournaments that are out there on the tour wise, but the tour stops are everywhere from Maine
Yeah,
to California and everywhere in between.
yeah. And the money that it takes to get out there, and you've got a job.
Yeah, I think right now is the only thing that's kind of holding me back from it is, I think getting my either card as a pro.
Once you get the card, you have it for life.
No, you got to keep that up. If you don't keep that game up, your game starts lacking. You
No,
start
what I'm
getting run
saying
over.
is, so say you got the card and you only want to do, 2 tours a year or 3 tours. Can you do that?
Sure, absolutely.
Three tournaments a year.
Yeah.
But you got to keep your score up. But
You do.
You could do that with practice, but I'm still staying home, maybe even still working,
Yep.
and going to these tours whenever you get
Yeah.
a chance.
That's the tough part. I mean, it's holding the full-time job, and then if you were a professional at either of those sports, it's you have to juggle a job, and then it's okay. You have to be in a tournament that's out in Vegas on this weekend, and it's like, all right, cool, and say you're able to get out there and you bowl very well, then it's all right, cool, you qualified. So now the next step in that tournament is in Florida the next weekend, or it's in California.
Do you win
or-
money for the one you just won, the tournament, or is it like you got to do all this before you get any money? Because if you golf and you come in 50th, you get yourself 30 grand.
Yeah,
Is bowling the same? If you
yeah.
came in,
They'll probably pay out the top 25, 50 people, depending on
Right.
the tournament, whatever it is.
right?
But you got to be on your game to make money, and then that's what's going to help fuel your cost to get
yeah, for sure.
to the next
Right.
tournament or the
Right.
next qualifier after
Yeah.
you did this one. Now that can get you to this location for this, and then it's airfare, hotel,
Food.
food, other expenses.
Yeah, but I would imagine if you could get one good sponsor, and work for a couple of sponsors.
Yeah.
That's where a manager comes in, or publicist, whatever they want to call it. I don't know, and get you on some shows or whatever, and that'd be fun. Imagine that's the way to go.
I can't even imagine.
Right.
Just to go for the experience. Like, I think if I was able to make a telecast or, just to go and compete against some of those guys that I've been watching since I was a little kid.
Now, so 3 perfect games in a month. How does that compare to these big shots?
I'm low guy on the totem pole, even in
Even with 3 perfect games, and you've done 9 in your life.
yeah, I have 9 in my life.
And-
3 this month.
And when was have you had some last year or a couple of months ago?
It had been a couple years.
Right
I'd
there at the
been
edge.
really close. Yeah, one pin has cost me. I can't even tell you that number.
The same pin?
Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time, it's a 7-pin.
So I hate that.
Yeah, 7-pin or an 8-pin.
I always
Usually,
hate
those
that.
are the two.
Do you name? You have bowling balls. Do you have name for your bowling balls, like Betsy and Gertrude? And
I don't. I think if anything, I right now I'm going with Old Faithful.
yeah. Is Old Faithful one ball or all of them?
That's one right now. That's the one that I've been lights out with.
There's one that you stay with. So if you're doing a good job and you got 4 balls constantly sitting there, you go for Old Faithful.
Yeah, since the beginning of the month, I had changed. Remember how I told you earlier? We were talking about how you put a lot of people on one side of the lane.
Yeah.
That lane condition is going to get
Yeah.
chewed up.
Yeah.
And that was a situation I found myself in earlier in the month, and I was like, I'm not going to struggle. You're into the wind at that point. It's not
Right.
going to work out for you. So I had changed some equipment, changed my ball, changed my line, my angle of attack, rev rate, hand position coming out. Wow. And ran the next 22 strikes in a row. And I'm like, all right, I might be onto something.
Well,
here.
you see 22 strikes in a row. So what? And this is how much I don't know, but 10 pins to get a perfect game. How many?
12.
There's 12. That's a perfect game.
12. Yep.
That gives you 300.
Yep.
And so how many strikes have you gotten in a row from 1, 2, 3 games?
22, I'd have to say, is probably my
22
high. Yeah,
strikes
I was at like
in a
18 or
row.
19
That's-
was my
that's-
record for a while, and then 20. I put 22 up,
Holy Jesus!
and I haven't thrown another ball since. I have not changed that setup. I
Right.
have not changed that line.
Right.
I still videotape myself, make sure everything is, and
Yeah,
I'll go
yeah.
back and watch it
Yeah.
just to make sure.
Are you doing well with any money winnings on tournaments? Have you?
A lot more in cornhole, believe it or not, than in bowling.
Right.
Right now, but yeah, over my career of
You've
bowling,
done well. I don't want to
yeah.
know, but you've done well.
Yeah,
You-
I'm
yeah.
not complaining at all.
Right. Right.
Between
Why?
tournaments, side brackets, side pots, cash games.
Are they contacting you, or do you have to go out to them and they say, "Hey, Eric, we got one coming," and they want you there, or
For a tournament?
yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I get calls up all the
You
time.
must bring a lot of people, also.
There's a big group of us that'll go out. We get notified of tournaments and stuff coming up,
Right.
and whether it's a city tournament, state tournament. Last night, actually, the gentleman that I was bowling against, great guy. After I beat him up pretty bad, pretty bad on the lanes,
Yeah.
came up to me and said, "We have an opening for our regional or for nationals this year in Vegas,
Wow.
and we want you on the team."
And
Thinking about it, for as long as I've been bowling, never gone to a nationals.
all right, so you need sponsors for that? Is that what you're saying?
Nope, no sponsor needed. You
But-
put a team together.
Right. But it's still going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Sure.
Now, and this is a whole different world, but they have the GoFundMe. They have all.
That's right.
And you have enough friends and stuff. A lot of people would throw $20, $30 in and say, "Ah, here you go, Eric."
Go have some fun.
You know.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, you should think of that. And now you're probably going to. You could get. What they do is trying to raise 1,000, trying to raise 2,000.
Yeah.
You got a goal. Sometimes that goal goes up to 20,000. I mean,
Sure.
Kickstarter and all that. You know,
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Oh yeah.
Do you doing any? Are you doing any journaling? You should.
I don't.
You should.
I do mentally.
Yeah.
Um,
Get a journal and write down your thoughts and your experience and stuff, and even go back and now what's going on now. And people in your field would like to read it, especially if someone with your experience is valuable. You would be like you'd probably be like a master or going for a grandmaster in the martial arts.
yeah.
Because you're going to think that because you have the technique to show people. You don't want to be doing that. You're never going to be able to bowl. You're never
Yeah.
going to be able to,
I never thought about that. I'll have to.
you
a good idea.
because you have a talent. You have a talent, and people say, "Oh, you're lucky. You got a talent." No, I'm not lucky. I got a talent. I've trained my life every day.
Yeah.
So you've put the thought process in, and all these coaches that you've had, right? Mm-hmm. You have that knowledge. Especially you write that down. This is what you do. This is what you do. Now you've got a journal of your experiences. This is what happens when you don't tell. People be interested.
Yeah.
And it'd be, and you do a little here, a little there. You don't have to do it every day, but if you did, you'd have a journal in 1 year.
Oh, sure.
Or a book on bowling or cornhole or maybe the both.
I was gonna say, yeah, we can do a 2-part series.
2-part series, half cornhole, half, and the final chapter will be a little horseshoe.
Yeah, we can do it. Absolutely do it.
2 little horseshoes. Yeah.
Some added notes at the end. Some added notes at the end. We'll throw a couple horseshoe tips in there.
Jesus, that's so funny with the cornhole.
It's just all the same motion. Like there's a
Same
lot of
motion.
people that I meet in the cornhole world.
Yeah.
In that whole group of people, that a lot of people come from bowling backgrounds or horseshoe backgrounds.
Yeah. It's that arm coordination with the eyes, but the whole rest of your, as I say, the whole rest of your body has to have a motion. It's not just the arm, because and like I say, if you just go like this, you can't do that. You've got to swing your hips and your whole body into it, and it's got to be a flowing action, like golf.
Yep.
All right, or any sport, you have to flow, get your whole body into it, and that's. If you were an instructor, a master instructor in bowling, that's what you would probably teach people, right?
Yeah. I tell a lot of people the more moving parts equals more headaches, more things can go wrong.
Right.
The more you can be compact, simplify your swing.
Right. Oh yeah, it's
I
simplicity.
find a little easier.
Always go back to the basics.
Right.
Does now say you were 6'8", would that hinder your? Would that hinder your? You laughing at?
Yeah.
It would hinder your bowling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wait, your arm's closer to the.
I know that's a lot of people say it's a little bit easier for Eric because he's only 5'2". He doesn't have to bend over that far.
Yeah, I didn't have to bend.
But yeah, I know a couple of bowlers who are north of 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", who have a ton of back issues.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
I can only
because
imagine.
You got to bend down that much further.
Right. And it's the constant repetition, like carpal tunnel, or, I mean, even we're doing, and I just did it the other day up at L3 for back aches. So what I forget what they call the module that we had to do.
Okay.
But it was all repetition. How to stay out of the repetition, or if you do, you got to. And when you're bowling or horseshoes or golf, the same repetition. And like I say, I had it set up, especially at the Taekwondo school, just to hit plastic balls, 200 or 300 a day. That's what my goal was.
Yeah.
My back started killing me because I wasn't compensating the opposite side. If you swing 200 times to the right, or you're righty, swing 200 times to the left. So that your back is doing this,
equal it
not
out.
just going like that.
Yeah, in one direction.
And you would,
Repetitive motion.
yeah,
will get
it's the
you-
repetitive motion that'll get you in trouble.
Sure.
Look, Tiger Woods, one of the richest golfers in the world and stuff, with bad back. You would think, they can fix his back. Been playing since he was 1.
Yeah. Once your back goes out, there's
And it had to be
not
from
a lot.
golf. It had to be from golf.
he used to swing so
Yeah.
violently
Yeah. And
at the golf ball that would
yeah.
that,
Think about that jerking motion and stuff. And
yeah. And it's not even like just the back. I think your back takes a lot more damage like in golf, they teach you to create energy through your legs,
Right.
and move that energy through your legs,
Right.
through your
your
back,
hip jog, it's a hip
hips,
thing. Yeah.
back, out your shoulders, arms, and
Everything flows from your hips.
Right.
And that's what I do on my the Taekwondo show. Hips are everything. And it's almost every week, every 2 weeks I tell them that on your punches, on your kicks and stuff, it's your hips. I don't know how much on bowling because, I don't know the mechanics. I know golf is one of them.
Sure.
You ain't moving your hips, you ain't hitting that ball.
Right.
Yeah. Bowling, and I'm trying to, as I watch you, I'm saying, yeah, he's swinging in a fluid motion, but everything's coming with a push. Do you have a fast throw, or is this something that is just more controlled? Because would that make a difference? Does that make a difference, the speed of the ball,
absolutely.
so that the pins just explode?
Think of it. I try to explain in like a golf point of view.
Right.
So if you have a putt, say a 10-foot putt,
Right.
whatever it is, and it's breaking right to left,
Right.
you need to hit that ball with the right speed
Yeah.
for that ball to take the contour of the green
All right, so
and come down into the hole.
Okay. Yeah.
If you hit it too fast, you're going to push it right through the break. And it's never going to read the green. It's going to be too quick. Same exact thing in bowling.
Okay.
If you're too fast, it's not going to hook as much, and it's not going to get back to where you want.
Right.
If you're too slow, it's going to hook a lot. If you hit a putt slow,
Okay.
it's going to dive in front of the hole.
Right.
You're going to miss it well.
Do you have different speeds, or are you like a constant speed?
No, I keep the same.
The
I'm very
constant.
much a creature of
The habit.
habit. Yeah, where I
Muscle memory.
muscle memory. Keep the least amounting moving parts means less error to me.
Right.
So I'll stay exactly the same. I will not change a thing.
Do you do you have any rituals that you do? Do you have to do before you, or do you not want to talk about it?
No. I
Because people already see it.
I have a couple.
Like,
Like I'll always like when I pick up my bowling ball, I have a towel, and I will wipe the ball down to get all the oil off the ball. I want a fresh ball
Every time.
every time.
Yeah.
And I will always spin that ball 6 times on that towel every single time. I don't know why I do it.
Oh no! 'Cause
I don't
you
know
have-
when I
well, 'cause
started it.
Yeah. But you'll never stop.
Nope, never.
Yeah, that's your ritual.
It is
And rituals, that's muscle memory.
a wipe of the foot, spin that ball, get up, and go. Sit there, get yourself set.
Yeah. No prayers or anything, or
It depends on what the game's going like. Prayers could be anything from "Please God, let something go right," or "Don't mess up." Like this is a big ball for you. Whether it's a shot to win the game for the team, whether it's a shot to win the game for yourself, win a tournament.
and just like your last ball for the perfect game and stuff, and you missed it, or you missed it for the championship for your team.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
It does.
And it happens, and in my mind, as I told my granddaughter when she would lose at cheerleading, I asked her, I says, you toughen up after a while. In the beginning, you can't get over it. After a while, it's like, it's a game. I'll go get the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You need to learn from those experiences, or to use them as learning experiences.
that's right. Yeah. Because your mind can play major. Do you have a hard time sleeping before any big tournaments, or is it just you find ways?
Yeah,
to
the night before.
meditation.
If I know a big tournament's coming up, if I'm going to states or nationals, regionals, I usually don't get much sleep that night before.
No meditation or breathing exercises.
No, I should probably look into that though.
Yeah.
To be honest with
Oh
you.
yeah, meditation is
Last night, after I got home from
why
record night, I didn't go to sleep for a little while. My adrenaline was still pumping pretty big after.
There's
last
breathing
night.
exercise, deep breathing exercises that will make you fall asleep if you just keep it going. And if you think about your breathing instead of what's going on in your life, it puts you out.
Sure.
You probably wake up in another half hour going, all right, here I'm back at it.
It's hard to put yourself into, or it's hard to get yourself out of your own head, I think, with certain situations, whether it's for good or whether it's for bad. I think that medicine works both ways.
Yeah, right. And the problem is, if you have a big tournament coming up, you want to be as rested as possible.
You do.
You want to be comfortable, not no sleep at all. And here we go. Yeah.
You need a good breakfast.
Yeah.
You need.
But you're
get
not
up,
alone.
go-
Most people in the same,
Right.
Super Bowl guys go in the back and they vomit because they're so nervous.
Yeah.
And then all right, I needed to get that out. But so it's everyone.
It is, and it's hard unless you put yourself in those situations and in those type of predicaments. You'll never get used to it.
You've got to get used to it.
I mean,
yeah.
even like last night, I had, when I had thrown 300, I mean, I was going up, and this is probably, I mean, granted, that's the 9th one that I've thrown,
Right.
but I've been in that situation
Right.
for that number
Right.
a lot. And I mean, you still get nervous knowing.
You could talk yourself out of it if you wanted to, but if you, a lot of times when you're on a roll, you feel you're on a roll. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
There's a biorhythm, or there's a karma. There's something in your body, and you're saying, "I got it tonight."
Yeah.
Golfing, golfing. When you got a game going, I got it today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose it. Yeah.
But you can't let it get to your head. You can't get too cocky. 'Cause
Oh
I
no,
think
you can't get
you can
cocky.
get over.
But it can relax you.
Sure.
I'm talking about the relaxation. Sometimes
yeah.
you're not relaxed, and sometimes you are.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that has happened. It's like what you've done a couple of days before, lack of sleep, or tension at work,
Sure.
your home life. Everything revolves around keeping your brain. Eric,
In the
that's
moment,
That's
at the
about all
moment.
the time we have, my friend.
was
I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much
It
for
was
having
so
us.
much
It was great.
fun talking to you. We'll do it again. We'll do it again,
Yeah,
especially if you. And now this was like the preamble to your professional career. So maybe in a couple
Hopefully
of
that'll
years,
kick off here soon, and
yeah, you'll be the Marine with the golden arm. They'll be calling you. We'll have T-shirts and
it's not a bad idea. We should have some T-shirts made up like that.
Marine with a golden.
It's just a left arm bicep, like there's a golden.
just golden arm, and then you're Marine Corps signal right
Sure.
there. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you very much. I
it.
appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Till next time, have fun and train hard.